historic goal for Trey Fix-Wolanski, the most in a single season for any player in the history of the Cleveland Monsters. Trey Fix-Wolanski, your overtime hero! Fix-Wolanski in front, he scores! A thing of beauty! Monsters take away, no feet ahead. Here's Fix-Wolanski alone on a breakaway. Save made, rebound, he scores! And there it is! No one has 4 goals in Monsters history.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to recognize Monsters forward Trey Fix-Wolanski, as he is now the all-time leader in franchise history for points and goals. Monsters fans, get on your feet and make some noise for our very own Trey Fix-Wolanski!
Welcome everyone to another edition of Monsters OT, presented by the UH Drasinski Sports Medicine Institute. We'll hear from my co-host Brad Thiessen in just a minute, but I'm Tony Brown, the man of the moment though. The man of the year for the Cleveland Monsters is the guy we highlighted there in our open, Trey Fix-Wolanski. He has done it, completing really the quest for all of his franchise records. He's chased down goals, assists, points, power play goals, game-winning goals. He's the greatest scorer in the history of the team, and we wanted to pay tribute to Trey, the newest Cleveland hockey legend. On today's show, though, we've got a lot of great stuff to talk about, including our Monsters Alumni Spotlight with a fan favorite in the history of the club. We'll take a look at Tour with the Monsters in Lakewood. That happened here recently, and plenty more ahead. But as always, we begin with headlines. All right, on headlines this time, we want to begin with the division standings, and Brad Thiessen, the Monsters are still atop those North Division standings. Cleveland 4 points clear right now of Syracuse, a team that's coming on a little bit in the playoff race. Don't sleep on Belleville. They're in 3rd place, and things are sort of not like they usually are. Toronto, Utica, Rochester, always contenders, and they're looking up at the rest of the division right now.
Yeah, credit to the Monsters for kind of making it through the schedule to this point. The last month has been a lot of transactions, a lot of road trips, and we still see them at the top of the standings. Every team seems like they've been taking their turn at making a run at things. As of this recording, Belleville and Laval on hot streaks, so they've been moving up, and the Monsters still looking down on everyone else.
Yeah, and you know what? When you're at the beginning of the year and you're in 1st place, I mean, you still have so many games ahead of you, but the pressure, you do start to feel it a little bit, right, as the front-running team, now that you're literally halfway through the season.
Yeah, you definitely have a target on your back. The Monsters are a team that, when teams come into town, they know that the Monsters are 1st place team, and they want to come after them. So they're getting the Monsters are getting every team's best when they come in, and they've been responding so far. Yeah, and we saw that in recent road games for Cleveland in Utica and Syracuse. Couple of tough games against those division foes who know the Monsters well, and no matter where anyone is in the standings, those are hard-fought battles every single time against those teams. Yeah, they are. They're fun games for the players too. Divisional battles, 4 points on the line every time, especially with the standings the way they are. It gives a little sense of urgency every single time you play those teams. Let's keep things moving here on headlines. Take a look at, you mentioned transactions, who's been on the move for Cleveland, and there have been some notable additions for the Monsters here lately, and that really starts, Tease, with the assignment of Brendan Gaunce back to Cleveland. He's a guy that means everything to this group up front. The Monsters have been missing him as their center depth has been tested with his recall and Josh Dunn's injury. Yeah, it really has been, and not only center depth, but just the leadership that he brings to the team. Obviously, you're nice to have your captain back. He's a guy that night in, night out brings the energy. Guys look to him as the leader of their team, and with not a lot of veterans in this group, he's someone that will be definitely welcome back. Yep, and Jake Christensen came back in early January. That's a big boost to the Monsters on the back end. Ole Julian Bjergvik home back in Cleveland. He was on an AHL deal but assigned to ECHL Cincinnati, so he has helped bolster the blue line. And I wanted to talk to you about Pavel Chayan's recent assignment to ECHL Kalamazoo. It would be easy for a fan from afar to look at that and say, oh, it's a demotion. But it's not. This is a chance for Pav to get into a rhythm. Yeah, it really is. I mean, he's a 21-year-old kid that maybe hasn't gotten in as many games that we would have liked with the way Jet Greaves has been playing this year. With the schedule at this moment, with kind of lighter, only a couple games on each of these next couple weekends. So for him to be able to go to Kalamazoo, get some ice time, find a little bit of confidence in his game. It's a perfect time in the schedule for that, and he was excited about it.
Yeah, the ECHL is a real tool for American League teams, the same way that the American League can be that for NHL clubs. So fans, bear that in mind when you see some of these transactions throughout the year. Let's keep things rolling now, Thiessen, with some awesome headline news. The Monsters are going to have the second most representatives at the All-Star game that they've ever had in the history of the club. 4 total people are going, 3 players, and here they are. Let's give them to you one by one. We'll start with Jake Christensen, now a 2-time AHL All-Star. He means just about everything to this defensive core.
Yeah, he does. It's nice to see him recognized. Both ends of the ice, offense, defense. He's on the ice in all situations and someone that can be relied upon, and just the evolution of his game over the years has been fun to watch, and well deserving of that honor.
Now, our second All-Star this season, going to San Jose, by the way, for the AHL All-Star Classic, presented by Tech CU on February 4th and 5th, is a name we've mentioned, even on this show already, and that's Trey Fix-Wolanski, among the league leaders in scoring this season, but his impact is immeasurable, and he's the leading point getter on the team.
Yeah, he's another guy that definitely deserves to be there right now. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm sure he's got some sort of special celebrations or things that he's trying to incorporate into the All-Star game, but just a fun player to watch. The excitement, the energy that he brings to this team, and just the key minutes, the way that he's counted upon, he always delivers.
And the third player that's going to be headed for Cleveland to San Jose is a guy that you're very familiar with, Jet Greaves. The numbers just bear it out. I mean, he leads the league with 17 wins, top 3 in minutes played, top 3 in saves, but his impact on a night-to-night basis can often be the difference between winning and losing, and he just might be the best player on the club this year in terms of his performance.
Yeah, it was just every single night he's been, at the beginning of the year, that was a challenge for him, is to be able to show that he's one of the top goalies in this league, and night in, night out, give the team a chance to win. And, you can definitely say that to this point of the year, and so it's nice to see him recognized with the All-Star nomination.
Absolutely, and let's not forget about the 4th representative Cleveland's going to have. It's their head coach, Trent Vogelhuber. Because the Monsters are the first-place team in the North Division, he is going to be coaching the North Division team in San Jose. And it might be a team award a little bit because it's based on standings, but how about a word for Trent and the way in his second season as a head coach he's gotten this group to come together and succeed the way they have.
Yeah, and especially in the American Hockey League, it's such a tough balancing act at times to manage the roster, the day-to-day, the travel, bus trips, practice time, development, all the different factors that go into it, and yet he's done such a good job managing all those teams, putting the team in first place, and I know he's looking forward to spending a few days in San Jose.
Well, congratulations to all 4 of those guys. Now, it is another road trip to add to a busy season, but I think they can deal with this one all the way out to the West Coast. Congrats to Trey, to Jake, to Trent, and to Jet for making their way to the AHL All-Star Classic. Thiessen, let's look ahead now on headlines to what the Monsters have ahead of them here, and it's a real opportunity. A 10-game homestand that's going to stretch over the course of nearly 5 weeks. So let's take a look at some of the games coming up for Cleveland. 6 different opponents are going to be here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, but before we get into the specifics, Brad, just having that many home games in a row, it can transform your position in the standings, be it to a positive degree or to a negative degree. It's a big point in the season.
Yeah, it is, and it's important not to exhale when you see that point in the schedule and think, oh, it's going to be easy now that we're at home for 10 straight games. But a real opportunity. The fans this year have been unbelievable at Rocket Mortgage, and the players feed off that energy.
Yeah, it sure is. So let's take a look at some of the specific games coming up. The Lehigh Valley Phantoms are going to be at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse the 19th and 20th of January. By the way, during this 10-game stretch, 4 of those games are going to be on TV on Valley Sports Great Lakes, so we're excited for that. We've also got Toronto coming in Wednesday the 24th for Pride Night. You've got the Hartford Wolfpack in on the 26th and 27th. After that, you've got Pucks and Pierogies. We'll see what that's all about on a great Monsters Family Day presented by Castaway Bay. That's on February the 3rd. Charlotte Checkers and our old buddy Zach Dalpy will be in-house on the 9th and 10th of February. And circle that game. Saturday, February the 10th, it's Trey Fix-Wolanski bobblehead night presented by Dominion Energy. And then it all wraps up Tuesday, February the 13th, the 7 o'clock game against Grand Rapids. We hope that you join us for as many of those games as you can make it to. Get your tickets while you still can online at clevelandmonsters.com and be there as the Monsters hold serve, we hope, at home all the way until Valentine's Day with a huge homestand coming up. Right now, it's time for a break on Monsters OT. When we come back, we'll check in on Tour with the Monsters as the Monsters take practice on the road, and then we'll drop the mic with Monsters video coach Mike Monty. It's all ahead on Monsters OT, presented by the UH Drasinski Sports Medicine Institute, right here on Bally Sports, Great Lakes. Welcome back to Monsters OT. Remember, folks, Monsters OT is presented in part by Labatt Blue. Up next on Monsters OT, we wanted to take a closer look at a really cool thing the Monsters do throughout the season. Now, typically, the club practices in the morning at Brunswick Auto Mart Arena in Strongsville, but a couple of times a year they take their show on the road and take team practice to local community rinks so they can share the experience with the fans, and fans get a chance to get autographs and skate with the players after the guys are done with their work on the ice. Let's take a look at the most recent Tour with the Monsters event at Winterhurst Ice Arena in Lakewood. Our own Kaylee Lane has more.
Hi everybody, Kaylee here at Tour with the Monsters at Winterhurst Ice Arena. This is our second Tour with the Monsters this season and we are so excited to be back. Come on and see the action. What is your favorite part about doing Tour with the Monsters?
I think for me, I like to just come see different arenas, see different fans from different places, and it's awesome to come out and skate with.
Thank you so much for joining us here at Tour with the Monsters for our final stop of the 23-24 season at Winterhurst Ice Arena. For all things Cleveland Monsters, visit clevelandmonsters.com. Tony and Brad, back to you in the studio.
Well, thank you so much, Kaylee, and great job as she took us to inside Tour with the Monsters there. You've been around, you've done the tour before. I know the training staff treats it like a road game, essentially, so it might not be the most popular event there, but for the fans, it makes a huge impact, and that's why it's important to do, because it not only gets a chance for fans that can't make it down to Strongsville in the mornings to experience practice, but then to skate with the guys. What a rare opportunity. Yeah,
it's an awesome opportunity, and I know as a player it was fun to be able to take part in it. You look into the stands and it's a full house for practice. It's always gives a little extra energy, and then be able to skate with the kids, the fans who are out there supporting the team throughout the season. You know, have up close and personal opportunity to see them. It's a really cool experience. Well, shout out to Kaylee, but also to our Monsters junior reporter Bentley, who did some good work there, getting that hard-hitting journalism into the show. We appreciate that for sure. So that is Tour with the Monsters. You can keep up to speed on clevelandmonsters.com for all the cool things Cleveland is doing in the community throughout the season. We wanted to talk about another great event here before we step away, because we've got a lot more great show ahead. But let's talk Tip a Monster, because that is one of the most unique things the Monsters do throughout the season. It's coming up at the end of January on the 30th at the Metropolitan at the 9, and it's going to be a little bit different this year. Tease, I'm sure you remember Tip a Monsters from years past. They get wild, they get crazy, but most importantly, they raise a lot of money for the Monsters Community Foundation. What are some of your Tip a Monster memories? Some human pyramids, some costumes being worn that maybe weren't something that the players were excited to do. But like you said, a great opportunity to raise some money, another opportunity for fans to kind of get up close and personal with the players, and just a great night all around. Yeah, so it's coming up at the Metropolitan at the 9 on January the 30th. There's going to be a VIP cocktail hour in the vaults there at a really cool space from 6 to 7. Dinner is 7 to 10, and anyone who buys a ticket is going to have the chance to dine with a Monsters player. And so there's a price point for everybody there, and it's a totally unique experience. You're not going to want to miss Tip a Monster. I hope to see you there. Get your tickets online at clevelandmonsters.com/tip. We'll take another break here on Monsters OT. On the other side, you know what's coming, folks. We'll drop the mic with Monsters video coach Mike Monty. That's next on Monsters OT, presented by the UH Drasinski Sports Medicine Institute. Only here on Bally Sports, Great Lakes. Welcome back to Monsters OT. I'm Brad Thiessen, and back by popular demand with the second installment of Dropping the Mic with Monsters video coach Mike Monty. Monts, welcome back. What do you got for us today?
Thanks for having me. Today we're going to talk about entries or attacking off the rush. Now, for teams, analytically speaking, this is one of the most important parts of generating offense because it's one of the more dangerous plays to defend. You can see from top to bottom we have our shooter, our middle driver, and what we call our dot lane, dot driver. and then we have our fourth man. Now, imagine the puck comes in here, puck carrier's here. He has the option to either shoot the puck, make a pass across to the dot lane driver, or if those aren't available, he can cut back, delay, and he can hit this fourth man right here in this area so that he can deliver this puck with some net front traffic. Okay, so as we roll through some clips here, we're going to illustrate some different pieces to why this is so important. What makes this so interesting is that no two rushes are alike. Sometimes it's a 3-on-2, sometimes it's a 2-on-1. It gives players a little bit of artistic license to show their skill and their deception and to make the game a little bit unpredictable, which makes it a lot of fun. So first clip here, we're going to just roll through this real quickly. Now, as this play develops, you can see Jake Gaudette here on a 2-on-1 with Justin Pearson. What makes rush plays so difficult to defend are all these different elements, specifically in this clip, the width and the depth of the attack. Now for the goalie here, I'm going to let T speak on his experience and what it looks like from the crease and why it's so hard to defend this kind of play.
Yeah, as a general rule with the goalie, it's important for the goalie to take the shooter. The defenseman's trying to defend that pass, make sure that the goalie's got a clear view of that shot, and that's his job to make that save on that shooter.
So as this play develops, everybody in the building thinks that this pass is going to go across to Justin Pearson, including the goalie. Now, where Jake Gaudette's skill comes out is in his deception and making us think that he's going to pass it across, where he's actually thinking shot. And as this play rolls through, you can see he surprises the goalie with a really nice and timely goal.
Yeah, you can see that goalie's thinking pass there because of the deception that Jake showed. And, you know, right now he's digging that puck out of the back of his net, wishing that he had that one.
Awesome. So as we roll into the next clip here, this was from our teddy bear toss game. Now, as this play develops, okay, we have Jake Gaudette again, who's technically in the middle of the ice, but he's never going to be able to be the middle driver. It's just physically impossible based on where he is and where the puck is for him to get there. So you watch Justin Pearson here again. He's going to assume the role of middle driver. He's going to get to the middle of the ice area. He's beating his defenseman back to the net, which allows Jimmy Malatesta to deliver him a good pass and a really timely goal that cued the teddy bear toss for this game and was a big goal in helping us win this series against Belleville. So let it roll.
Yeah, you see here with the goalie, you see he sees the speed of Justin Pearson coming at him right there, and he's got it back up into his crease, giving Justin a lot of room to shoot out on that net.
So this next clip here from our game against Chicago, and this clip here, what you're going to notice is it's as close to that diagram as we showed you at the beginning of this video session here. So we have our middle driver, Brendan Gaunt's, doing a really great job of getting to the paint with a purpose and creating net front presence that pulls these two D back. Now, Michael Putia with the puck here, he could take a shot here and it's going to be a pretty quality chance, but because Brendan Gaunt's has paved the way and done the work, he's opened up this cross-seam play to our dot lane driver, which is Luca Del Belbaluz. You're going to see this pass goes across. The goalie is going to have to shift across and try and adjust to that. Luca Del Bel is going to make an equally skilled play coming back to Michael, and he's going to tap it into the net for a really pretty looking goal. So as you roll it here, go ahead. Roll it again.
Yeah, and you see the goalie here. Anytime that you can make two passes through that seam, you're going to put the goalie in a tough spot to be able to make that save.
Awesome. So this next clip, our last clip of the day, I really like this clip because pause it right here. You can see that it's a 3-on-3. And from a defensive standpoint, this is a pretty good stance against the rush. Now, what I like about what the Monsters are doing here is Trey Fix-Wolansky, who's carrying the puck, he's actually entering through the middle of the ice, which is advantageous on the rush because it really helps you dictate the play and which side of the ice you want it to go to and to make good reads that way. As this play develops, again, with good posture against Utica, Brendan Gaunt's and Trey Fix-Wolansky are going to create a little switch here, which creates a little bit of confusion and some space for our team coming in. Roll it here. You can see they create a little interchange. As this play happens, roll it again. Okay, Utica still has a pretty good stance. Okay, but what's going to happen is Trey Fix-Wolansky is just going to put it off the goalie's pads. Carson Myers is going to assume the role of that middle driver getting to the net front area, pulling the D back, creating more space. And as that happens, Brendan Gaunt's is going to get to the front of the net for a pretty easy tap-in goal and a big goal against Utica. As you can see, roll it here.
Yeah, nice job by Brendan Gaunce there, finding that loose puck. Goalie leaves a rebound in a juicy spot, and he's in a perfect position to be able to bang that one home. So, Monts, thanks for being back here, educating us on more ways to score goals, ways that the Monsters are working on their game in practice. Folks, that is Dropping the Mic with Mike Monty, and we'll be back with more Monsters OT after this.
Our Monsters Alumni segment on Monsters OT is presented by True North Convenience Stores. Welcome back, everyone, on Monsters OT, presented by the UH Jasinski Sports Medicine Institute here on Valley Sports Great Lakes. Tony Brown back with you alongside Brad Thiessen. I'm still recovering from dropping the mic. At this point, it's not just our favorite segment, Thiessen. I think it's become America's favorite segment on the show.
Say that.
But we have to move on, unfortunately. It's time for our Monsters Alumni segment here, and this one's going to be fun because you and I both remember this guy very fondly, the great Ryan Craig. He was a captain for the Monsters not only during the Calder Cup season, but the season after that in 16-17. But he's been a captain in 9 of his 11 seasons as a player at the American League level. He's currently the head coach for the Henderson Silver Knights out in Nevada, and he was spent 6 years as an assistant coach with the Vegas Golden Knights, won a Stanley Cup. Now he's trying to win a Calder Cup as a coach, but you think of leadership, you think of Ryan Craig.
Yeah, he's just the epitome of what a leader is. My first experience with him was in Wilkes-Barre. My second year as a pro, he was our captain and just does everything the right way. He's a guy that you want to follow onto the ice for sure, go into battle with, and then off the ice too. It can't, the amount of times that we spent at his house with his family, just him opening up his doors to the guys on the team for different holidays where people didn't have family around, and just an unbelievable guy, and can't say enough good things about him.
Absolutely, and I just remember as we watched this video, that moment when he got the cup in his hands and after his great career finally got to hoist it. Yeah. I mean, that was something special to watch and experience sort of vicariously there. Almost 200 games in the NHL in his career, 650 AHL games over the course of 11 seasons, 9 times a captain, as we said, played for Springfield, Norfolk, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, and then Lake Erie and Cleveland. And now in the coaching ranks, 6 years flew by in a blink of an eye for him as an assistant with Vegas, and on to Henderson, where I'm sure he's going to do amazing things. The great Ryan Craig is our Monsters Alumni Spotlight. Well, that's it for the show. We've got a lot of thank yous to hand out. First and foremost to our outstanding crew, and of course, Brad Thiessen and Mike Monty, who did great jobs today, as they always do. Special thanks goes to our camera operators, Robert and Cecil, but to everybody, including all of you who tuned in, thank you for making Monsters OT just what it is. We were presented by the UH Jasinski Sports Medicine Institute. Until next time, I'm Tony Brown, saying so long on Valley Sports Great Lakes.